Okay, we are live. Ahoy, mateys. Welcome to the Isle Ship. It is John, Mike, and Brandon, and we are going to be going over the penultimate start to what is going to be probably the most unrecognizable season for the Islanders in quite some time. I have no idea how this is going to go.
Can we call this the most exciting year under Lou Lamoriello? I think so. I mean, honestly,
You
guys,
think so?
I've never been more hyped. This is the best lineup we're putting out. There's
Hmm,
no Josh Bailey. I don't mean that in a negative way, but like he was really bad last year, and we
that's
don't even
fair.
have to worry about that
The
anymore.
year
That's not.
before.
Yeah, I
You
know.
you weren't as excited for the team coming directly off of their Eastern Conference Finals runs?
Honestly, not really. I think this is the first time where
Hmm.
I can honestly say there's not only some direct competition in the lineup, but I don't think we're going to be seeing the same fourth line running into the ground every night. I think there's a chance where we see a little bit more speed and skill incorporated into the lineup. We're going to get a full season of Engvall. We might even get a full season of Gauthier. If you look at his numbers from last year when he got playing time, he worked well. You know, he did his thing.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
interested. I'm interested to see where he fits in the lineup. I do think he'd be a nice Clutterbuck replacement. He's not going to hit as much, but he's someone who's going to dig those pucks and he skates really well. So
Okay. Yeah, I think this is probably one of the first times where going into the season I have absolutely no idea where the team is going. I mean, I know they're they have Sorokin and they
locked
should
in.
have a good defense. Bo Horvat should play better than he did last year, and
Listen,
Pierre Engvall and that second line should be very good. But at the same time, you have Noah Dobson, who's an unknown right now. We don't know if Alexander Romanov is going to take another step forward. Our depth is kind of an unknown, and Barzal needs to again step up his game and be the first line like star that we know he can be.
I I said this in the tweet, and Brandon's the human Wikipedia, so he'll be able to help me out with this. The Islanders the last 2 years were missing Pulak, I think in 21-22, and we're missing Pelech last year.
They missed
Yeah,
Pollock, but Pollock got hurt for 2 months during the. It was actually against
And
Tampa during the 13-game road trip. It
and
was
and you have to realize here when you say 2 months, not everyone recovers. You know what I mean?
game
Sometimes that
yeah,
number
can,
12.
no,
Game
that's
number
true.
12, to be specific,
but you get my
because it was
point is
part.
that
It
the
was part of the 13-game road trip. That's how I remember that.
Brandon, just jog my memory here. Do you remember offhand where the Islanders were ranked defensively in like I guess shots against the last 2 years? Probably bottom 10, right?
Bottom 10, bottom 10. They couldn't get out of their own zone during the
When
20.
when you're missing Pulak
Sure.
for 2 months, when you're missing Pelech for I think it was 2.5 months, maybe three. Can't even
No,
remember
no.
anymore.
Pellick was out for over a month this past season.
Okay, so over a month.
Hold
But you
on.
could tell there were lasting effects, especially when you have a concussion. I don't know if you guys have ever had one. I'm pretty sure you both have, right?
I
Yes.
have. They ain't fun. Pretty nice.
It affects everyone differently. There are usually lasting effects like COVID. It hits people differently. Some people it's even lifelong if you have too many. That's why it's
Sure.
dangerous for certain players to still be playing if they have multiple concussions. But
Yeah, CTE
I
is a serious issue.
you see some of the tweets from ex hockey players.
Yeah.
For an example.
Someone was Andrew Shaw's like PK Subban, all your teammates hated you, and someone responded with like, Andrew, you never played with me. And like, I don't know if it's related, but it's just really funny. He's like, I don't know if you thought you did, but I don't know. Further than that point, I just wanted to point out the Islanders defense has not been good the last 2 years. It's been bad. You can easily say it's been bottom 10, but we know this defense is arguably top 10 when they're playing well. So
From February to the end of the season, though, they were above league average.
which is, I think, what they'll be next year, too. And when you're above league average with a superstar goaltending tandem, you're going to be a great team. They're going to be a playoff team. I have no doubt in my mind that as long as things go average, they're there.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I have them finishing fourth, and I know we didn't really go over the preseason predictions, but go ahead, Brandon. Jump in.
So their defense, and this will determine whether or not they're a cup contender or not. This falls on whether or not Noah Dobson and or Alexander Romanov can take the next steps and
Yeah.
graduate to a
Agreed.
solid second pair duo.
Well,
But,
even then, I feel like Lou. Listen, I hated the Mayfield deal, but that's some great security. Let's say Romanov or Dobson aren't cutting it. I feel like Mayfield's the type of guy you can throw him on the second line and have them work with him. Because I don't know, he's usually consistently good defensively. I understand he takes a lot of penalties, but his numbers are always great. They always are. So
see, here's the thing, and here's my issue. And we're probably going to talk about the contracts now, but this is what people don't freaking understand with these contracts. The idea is that the salary cap is going to go up, 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 up over the next,
by like,
unless the world shuts down again.
which
Yeah,
you
no,
can't-
isn't it expected to go up by over 10 million within the next several years?
The expectation is by 2025, the salary cap will be at 100 million. That's the expectation.
Yeah.
Whether or not the lockout that potentially happens could put the kibosh on that, that's a different story. So you're given the term now to keep the AAV so low, the cap percentage will be that low, where burying him, moving him, or his roster spot, it'll be a non-factor financially by that point. That's the expectation. It's the same thing with Engvall. Oh, it's 7 years. You gave him a full no trade. Who cares? It's $3 million.
What kills me with the Engvall one, though, Brandon, is all these people that speak on it, they didn't watch a game of him.
No,
it didn't happen.
No, they watched how he was utilized in Toronto, which was not well. But again, this happens with teams all the time. Like Chicago, they saddled Letty into the bottom pair during their cup runs, and he comes to the Islanders. He's their top pair defenseman for the Islanders.
You could argue though that
the Islanders don't give Jared Spurgeon a single contract, and he's Minnesota's top freaking pair defenseman for almost a decade. So
you could argue though that a player who is fighting for a roster spot in a now rejuvenated role on a small sample size could have basically just been set up to succeed in the moment. And then as it goes longer term, it's not going to create the same success that they had initially, because that feeling of this is brand new, I need to fight for this, I need to supplant myself in the lineup is going to go away, and that kind of breeds complacency.
This is why his age is so important, because his biggest asset is something the Islanders needed desperately. There was no doubt in my mind that this team was not quick enough. Who do they get?
Yeah.
One of the best skaters in the league and I'm not saying he's a top line forward or anything, but he's a fantastic skater, and he has size. Those two things.
He has all the tools to where if he can actually put it together, he can be one of the best skaters in the entire league.
The chemistry that
never has had the hands for it.
The chemistry that he generates with Nelson and Palmieri, you don't mess
it's
with.
Worth $3 million, absolutely, just to roll the dice.
As a gamble, I think it's a great gamble. But if you were going to tell me $3
million forward,
if you were going to assume that he was going to have the same exact type of production this year than he did last year, I don't know if I would agree with that.
He was only half a point per game. Do I see Engvall being a 40-point player next year? Probably on accident. I mean, I think that would be if you're playing with Palmieri and Nelson. Both of those guys are good for scoring. Listen, Palmieri's been hurt.
I mean more in terms of how we all bring up the fact that line was leading the league expected points per game.
Listen, I don't think that's going to happen again. But if Nelson and Palmieri both follow their goal paces, Nelson's a 35 goal scorer and Palmieri's a 30 goal scorer. If he gets half of the,
I think Nelson hits that. I don't think Palmieri hits that.
Okay, let's say Palmieri puts up 25. Let's be conservative.
Yeah, okay.
So let's 25-35. How many goals is that?
That's 60. Yeah.
Engvall picks up an assist on half them. How many points does he already have?
30.
Okay, fair.
He already has 30 assists. You're going to tell me he's not going to score at least 15 goals?
Fair.
On a full 82-game season? Now, he could get hurt. And I don't know if you guys know, but I made a bet with someone. I think he was a Leafs fan. I have it in Twitter. Hopefully I can find it when the time comes. I said Engvall is going to get 50 points next year. I bet like $100 on it. I think 50 points is easy. Now he doesn't play power play, which might hurt his chances a little bit. But if that second line is putting up, like I said, if it's putting up, I don't know, 40. Obviously, I gave the goal totals, not including the power play, right? So
no, I think anywhere from 40 to 50 is a reachable number for him.
That's what I'm saying. And I think even if he goes short of 50 points and I have to give money, I won't be upset. I mean, if he gets over 40, I'm going to be very happy. I'm expecting. Yeah. Listen, I think he's 26. He's 26, I think, right now. He'll be turning 27.
27.
For 4 of these years, John, he's going to still be that excellent skater. The skating doesn't just evaporate. I mean, that would be ridiculous.
I agree.
And he's not a physical player, so you don't have to worry about like injury or something. He doesn't.
And by the time you're on the second leg of that contract,
you're rebuilding anyway.
No, I don't think so about that.
Okay.
But the cap will be so high.
I think you might be.
Where his cap hit percentage will be a non-factor. So people, this is why I don't get people. They don't think about this in the long run. Do people?
They do, but they don't care, Brandon, because they don't see the Islanders as good now. That's the whole reason behind the thought process.
The salary cap is not going to be the same in 3 to 4 years like it is now. So the $3 million cap hit, assuming Engvall goes on a slight decline by his 30, it'll be a non-factor. And that's how I feel right now with Mayfield, albeit Mayfield's a few older. But
John O'Brien tweeted this, Brandon. He said, I think it might have been Ryan, but it would something that John would say too. There's 2 viewpoints on the Islanders. You have people like us who are saying, go for it next 3-4 years. The team has the goaltending, has the defense. It just needs the offense to break out. That's it. And I mean, the defense too, you could argue Dobson, Romanov, but even if they just steady upgrade, you still got a top 15 D-core, and that's all you need if you have a Sorokin Varlamov, in my opinion. That's all you need.
But I still don't think they're a guaranteed cup finalist.
That's fine, but to my point, there are 2. I also agree. I don't think they're good enough, but they're close. There's 2 points that
they're a playoff team. They're not a cup contender.
That's all you have to do is make the dance. But there's 2 viewpoints on the Islanders. There are people like us who see the light at the end of the tunnel, and there are people who are saying team's not good enough, should have rebuilded. If that is your mentality, I didn't mean to do the middle finger, but if that is your mentality where you don't see a future at all with the Islanders being good, of course you're going to say every single older contract they had is bad. Anything they could. They could sign 35-year-old McDavid. They'd be like, I don't see the good future in that. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you another question, because here's another contract that fans have an issue with. Scott Mayfield. What should a second pair defenseman be making annually per year on a UFA deal?
Right now, they usually are going to make 4 or 5, right?
Yeah. Mayfield's getting less than 4. He's getting less than 4.
The thing is, this is the Mayfield contract, Brandon's actually the only one that bothers me, which is kind of funny because you guys know I'm not big on the Sorokin one.
The Sorokin deal bothers me the most still.
Of course, me and you understand that goaltending can be fickle. But if Sorokin stays a top 5 goalie this whole contract, he's a steal. Let's be real. He's a steal if he's top 5 and he's only making $8 million.
I mean, you're trying to take a boat and turn it into chocolate. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, seriously.
But he's already a top 5 goalie right now.
But I don't see it aging.
Can he maintain it? That I agree with you. But listen, if he gives us 4 to 5 years of being a top 5 goalie, he's already earned it and he's a steal. If he's a top 10 goalie, it's a fair contract.
Here's the problem, though. That contract doesn't kick in until the following season, not this one.
That's fine. We will wait and see. It's something you have to look down the line. At the end of the day, most people agree it was a fair contract or a good contract. It's not, a bad number. And I think Shesterkin's going to get 9. So
even the Varlamov deal, I'm cool with. So again,
that one's whatever. It's not really. We have a great backup. It is what it is.
He's making 2.5, I believe, or 2.75.
The problem, Brandon, I have with the Mayfield contract is what should bottom pairing defensemen be making? In my opinion, they're the guys who make $1 million, $1.5 million tops.
Right now they do, but in 3 to 4 years that could change.
My issue is
based off of UFA contracts.
Okay, I think you're all missing a third option here, though.
What?
The problem?
Mayfield
the problem is not, is the team good enough to win a Stanley Cup? Or do we need to rebuild right now? The problem is this team going to continue to be like in a pseudo contention window and throwing money at people with term to an extent to where when the cap actually does go up and there's a legitimate free agent frenzy, we are not going to be able to compete in that to the extent to which we would want to, because a lot of our space is going to be tied up in bad money deals.
Well,
Okay,
mistake. Am I wrong, Brandon?
Mike, I want to actually touch with John on this one.
Me too, but go ahead.
Show me. Okay, I'm not going to count Marion Hossa. Show me one team in the past decade and a half that's won a Stanley Cup with a big marquee free agent signing. Show me one. Show me one.
Okay.
Well, I think that'll start changing. We can argue that the cap's going to continue to grow.
Colorado Avalanche, Nazem Kadri.
He wasn't a free agent. No, he wasn't. That was a trade.
But they took on much more money in that deal. That was essentially a free agent signing.
No, it wasn't. That was a trade. They took Tyson Barrie and Alexander Kerfoot, and they gave him Kadri. That wasn't a free agent signing.
But how much money was Kadri making as opposed to...
I'm saying a marquee free agent signing.
But what I'm saying is, when you talk about marquee free agent signing, the
Johnny Gaudreau,
the implication you're making there is you're making a large cap hit change. What I'm saying is the Kadri deal is akin to a free agency signing because you're making a large cap hit change.
Not really. They traded away Tyson Barrie, who had a higher cap hit than Kadri. Kadri was making less money.
I think Brandon's point is like higher. Like when he says marquee free agent, he means like they got to the summer and signed someone. Am I correct?
No, I know what you're saying, but my point is that teams have taken on bad money and won the cup before. Many teams.
Bad money. Well, Kadri's contract was objectively not bad money at the time. He was making less than $5 million per year.
Yeah.
No, but it's bad money now.
No, it's not. No, now he's making bad money. Sure.
Yeah.
Now he's making bad money. But when he won his cup with Colorado, he was making less than $5 million annually for a second line center. Because Kyle Dubas chose to be Kyle Dubas. But you know, have the Rangers signed Panarin, haven't won a cup. The Columbus Blue Jackets signing Johnny Gaudreau, ain't sniffing the cup in his contract.
I would argue Panarin's a huge reason they got to the Eastern Conference Final, though. So I mean,
no, he's not the main.
He was excellent that year.
You know, Igor was the GOAT of that team. You know, and I know Igor literally carried that freaking team on his back. Should have won the Hart that year, by the way.
Also, you're forgetting that Vegas is like 80% free agency signings.
No, they're not. They were claims. They took claims from other teams.
Eichel was a trade, and then they signed a new contract, right?
No, Eichel was traded with term. Buffalo signed him that contract.
You got Stone. You got Pacioretty.
Okay, Stone was not a free agent contract. Stone was traded, and then
so you guys don't waste another. No, you guys are going to waste a lot of time in this. Can I just sum it up in saying what Brandon is trying to say is you get to the summer, you sign the big fish. It doesn't lead to a cup. I understand.
But these are not
point.
Players that you're drafting, though. These are players that you have acquired and now are giving large money deals.
Yeah, but those are I'm talking about outside UFA deals. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, so if the Islanders went and signed Panarin, that's what Brandon's talking about. That's pretty much what he means.
I understand, but what I keep saying, though, is the implication here is that there is a large amount of money that's now being tied in to specific players. Whether you acquire them in free agency or trade, now you have large amounts of money tied into 1, 2, 3 specific players.
Brandon, you would know who's an awesome free agent next year. That's not a good sign. I mean, because the Islanders don't have the cap space next year, but the year after that, I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 guys come off the salary, right?
Correct.
So the Islanders would technically have like 15 million. So I mean, they could really get anyone, right? I mean, if they don't spend.
I mean, they have to spend money to the people they already have.
I mean, the following off season, not this one coming up, but the following one, Buchnevich will be a UFA. That's one that comes to mind.
Yeah, but he's older.
No, he's not. He's in his upper 20s.
Yeah, but he'll be 31, right?
No, he's in his 20s. He's not even 30 yet.
I have to look, but I don't know.
Forward.
I know. I thought he was already 28, 29. I guess I have the wrong.
I think he's 27.
Let me just look since Brandon's making fun of me.
Unless he just turned 28 during the summer.
Yeah, he's 28 years old. I was right. So he'll be 30, Brandon, on that.
Okay, but he's still a damn good top 6 forward. I would take
know,
that.
but I like the guys who are 27 and still really good.
I'm 31 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life.
Brandon, we're not signing
That's
you.
not even, bro.
Brandon, we're not
There is
signing
not a
you.
single
You hear
hockey
him?
player that you can look at 31 years old and say they're in better shape than they were in their mid-20s. Let's be serious.
Ooh, that's a John. I like
No.
that one. Crosby's a tough one. Brock Nelson.
No, listen, Brock Nelson.
Brock Nelson is aged like Benjamin Button. He just keeps getting better and better every single year.
Brock Nelson is an anomaly. I will give you that one. Crosby is absolutely not in better shape than he was in his early 20s.
Well, when he was 30 years old, I felt like that was the peak of his career. That's tough. When you turn mid-30s, John, of course you're going to look older. But
this is what I mean.
You know what, John? I think Yager actually beats your claims. I need to go look at his stats. Yager was insane when he was...
Yager is playing hockey in his mid-50s, so I mean, you might be right on him, yeah.
John, this actually proves John's point. When he was 26, John, he had 127 points. When he was 28, he had 121. When he was 33 years old, John, he put up 123 points.
So he just never dropped off. Okay.
No, he did.
Good for him.
That's Yager.
When he was 39, he only had 54. When he was 66, I'm sorry. When he was 66 years old, imagine. When he was where is this point total? When he was 41 years old with the Devils, he put up 67. When he was 43 with Florida, he put up 66. It's absurd. That is absurd.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But I think Yager at like 33, John, was just as good as he was at 25. I'm sorry, but like on that Rangers team, he would be the reason as a kid I'd turn on the Rangers.
Sure. No, I understand. Yeah. Also, we are rambling like crazy. If you guys wanted to get like this done quick, we need to move on to whatever we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it was just a fun rant. I was trying to I wanted to summarize that because you guys were going to talk about it for an hour. I know how that works. It's like the Bailey debate again. But
I'm not doing that.
The point that Brandon's making, I think, is going to change. Just like how Brandon said he doesn't think the Islanders are a free agent destination. I'm sorry. If someone like, let's say, it's tough. I don't have a player off the top of my head, but let's say someone exciting like an Evgeny Malkin hits free agency and they're younger. They're like 27 years old. Not talking about him now. I'm talking about someone of that caliber. So let's just say a high-end free agent. And the Islanders go, here's $13 million. You think they're going to say no? Maybe. That's going to be a lot of other teams, Brandon. That's what I'm saying, though. It's not going to be just us. If the cap's going up 10 mil and the Islanders
I don't think a lot of teams are going to say no to that, but I think a lot of teams should.
Well, it depends on the quality of the player, John. If we're getting someone who's going to be a franchise center for the next 6-7 years, I mean, I would definitely pay someone 12, 13 mil. It depends who it is. I'm not like, listen, I know I'm pretty biased to this one, but I really like Jack Eichel. I would have paid him $1 million more than what they even gave him. I think he got 11, right?
No, 10 and change.
That's a great deal. Eichel's not. I've went over his stats a bunch. Obviously, at 5v5, he's just good, but overall, I mean, as a player, he does everything.
Well, that's just it. On a team like Vegas, I absolutely understand giving Jack Eichel that deal because you have a contention window that is closing, and you need to get that done as quickly as possible. On a team that's like middling, like the Islanders,
they're not middling.
No, I would not say Jack Eichel is a good idea on that at all.
I think if you add Eichel to this team, they're cup contenders, but
no, Eichel to this team, they are absolutely not cup contenders.
They're not cup contenders. They're a playoff team. There's only one cup contender in the Eastern Conference guaranteed, and that's the Carolina Hurricanes. That's it.
No, I think New Jersey Devils, if they actually get goaltending, can be cup contenders.
They added to Foley and they lost Severson, and you're banking on rookie production from Luke Hughes and Simon Nemec.
I think that's a good gamble.
It's not a good one. It's not. It's objectively not a good gamble.
It's fun to watch. I'll give you that.
Carolina's defense: Slavin, Burns, Pesci.
No, I think they're great.
Orlov, Shea, D'Angelo.
I think they're great. I don't think they have the offense for it, but I think that defense is elite.
But the thing is, how many 30-goal scorers did the Vegas Golden Knights have last year?
Yeah, I know, but this is why you're making.
But how many people came close to 30 goals?
They didn't hit it, though. They didn't hit it. That's
Most of the team.
Did they hit it?
But here's the difference, though. If you have 4 30-goal scorers, if you have 7 25 goal scorers, you have more.
Will next year, by the way. That's my hot take.
Wait, no, we need to go over this. You don't think the Islanders are a cup contender if they added an Eichel to the team? You're telling me you don't think?
I didn't say that. I'm saying as currently.
Let's say Dobson and Romanov take the next step, and you added an Eichel. You don't think the Islanders would be a cup contender with Sorokin?
I think they could make the cup if Sorokin goes God mode and bounces go their way. But constructed, no, I don't think on paper they would be a cup contender.
You really Jack Eichel, dude. I would trade Matt Barzal for Jack Eichel.
Yeah, you could argue Eichel was the reason Vegas won the cup last year. I mean, he was freaking insane.
No, you guys are misunderstanding. I'm not saying I wouldn't trade Barzal for Eichel. I'm saying that does not make you a cup contender by itself.
Are you
there are 5 teams in the league. To me, there are 5 teams in the league that can trade for someone and be an instant cup contender.
Interesting. I feel like Eichel would change our dynamic way more than even Bo Horvat. Brandon, what were you saying about Marchessault?
I said give some love to Marchessault and give some love to
tap-ins. He's great at those tap-ins, Brandon. Eichel made some beautiful passes. That's all I gotta say.
Okay,
Let's put it this way.
William K. Then William K. literally locked down every first-line center.
Listen, I understand it's a team sport, Brandon, but Eichel was freaking phenomenal from the first game on.
Sure.
I mean, he really got going.
But yeah, if you add Eichel to this hockey team, yes, you would be.
Oh my God, it would be the missing piece, to be honest.
No,
but yeah, you would. Dude, Jack Eichel. What are you talking about?
What I'm saying is
Eichel Horvat. You imagine that line.
He would be a major piece, but that would not be enough to make you a cup contender. Listen, if you put Jack Eichel in the Maple Leafs, they don't become a cup contender.
I think they would be.
No, because they don't have the defense or the goaltending.
How would they afford that? How would we afford it? But how would they afford it, John?
No, I mean theoretically, if the cap
$800 million on the cap.
No, but Mike, theoretically, if the cap didn't exist at all, and you put Jack Eichel with Austin Matthews, Matt Marner, and William Nylander and John Tavares, they would not be a cup contender still. That team cannot put up goals in the playoffs. It does not know how to defend, and they never have good goaltending.
See, I always think they're a contender no matter what. Even though they choke in the playoffs, I think they're
But that's what I mean. Everyone says they're a contender, and then they never contend.
True. No, that is a valid point, but I still think that if a few bounces went their way, they would be contending. It's just, I don't know. They've had some bad luck.
Did go their way, and then they got swept.
Well, they didn't get swept. They won one game.
A fine gentleman's sweep. Still.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, Carolina is considered a contender by you guys, and they got swept in the. I don't think they've ever won Eastern Conference Final game.
Carolina is a contender, but they also they
won a cup in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, Carolina is a contender, but they also almost lost to the Islanders.
I mean, Mike. Carolina,
I don't know. I don't think you should
Rick Wall Bobrovsky though. He was giving you them 960 goaltending.
I don't think you should consider a contender just because of playoff results. I think you should look at the team outside of that and go, is this team good enough? And I would say Carolina is good enough, even though they've done nothing in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think Carolina. I think Carolina is good enough. But what I'm saying is,
these previous 2 playoff runs, they've literally run into brick wall goaltending.
Everyone has matchups that are bad against them.
Yeah, but their matchup was fine though. It was literally the goaltending.
See, I always make this point with people. The Islanders did not have a favorable matchup at all.
No,
I don't. I think we were the underdog in every series except for one the whole entire time. And we still won because the better team wins. Well, not always, but most of the time, the team that plays better wins. Most of the time.
During the bubble run, the Islanders were dominant until they faced Tampa, though.
Sure. They ran into a team that was just flat out better than them.
My point is these are excuses for Carolina, excuses for Toronto. They're either contenders or they're not, no matter what happens. They're still both
okay, but I don't
contenders.
I think you need to prove something in the playoffs to be a contender. You don't have to win.
Carolina's proved anything. I think they proved they can get swept twice. I call them frauds every year. Because they make you believe. They make you believe, and then they shit their pants.
No, but Carolina made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They didn't shit their pants.
But they've never won a game under this coach, right?
But
they ran into God mode Bobrovsky. That's not their fault.
Whatever. Yeah, it is. You got to overcome that.
Mike, you and I both agree. Florida got completely outplayed by the Maple Leafs that series. You and I agree on that.
Sure, but I still think if you're a Stanley Cup winning team, you can overcome anything. My opinion, but whatever.
That's not true. That's not true. I mean, look what happened with the Vancouver Canucks against the 2011 Bruins. They literally ran to God mode Tim Thomas. On paper, objectively, that Vancouver team was better than Boston.
No, I'm with Brandon here. The better team does not always win. But
I said that. I agree.
But the better team eventually, if you are the better team from season to season to season, will break through.
If you're built right for the playoffs, of course.
Yes.
But my point is that Carolina is getting all these excuses, and we don't have to focus on this much longer.
I think Toronto is getting all these excuses.
No, I think both of them are, because at the end of the day, you got to do something. Right?
Carolina's won more series.
Sure. So if you want to argue they're more of a contender than Toronto, sure. But
yes.
At the end of
that's literally the argument. They have proven that they can contend more because they have shown it. They've won.
See, but to me, neither of them have sniffed anything that Florida has. That's what I'm saying. Florida's been to the finals, so to me, that's the.
But Florida has a single run.
They have no business being in the finals, though. That's the point.
Florida's history of cup contender status is one great run and nothing.
Well, technically two, but
I think these are all opinions by us, though. At the end of the day, it's just an opinion. I mean, you don't have to think the Leafs are a contender, but most people think they are.
They got to show it.
No, I agree. Your logic, it goes further than what I'm trying to say, because you're like, okay, show me you're a contender. And I agree with you. Are you a real contender? Well, I need to see it. But you're labeled a contender. Does that make any sense? You have the label, but
I get what you're... No.
Yes.
If you're going to say, are the Leafs a contender on paper?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But on paper it doesn't matter because it's never happened.
They're not on paper, though. Let's be honest. Their depth needs to be better. 100%. Their depth has killed them.
Sure.
When their top guys aren't
stars
going,
have killed them.
Nothing.
Their stars have killed them.
Both. Can you name me a bottom six forward that's come up for them in the playoffs and done well?
No, I can't, but I don't expect their bottom six forwards to come up for them in the playoffs.
If the Islanders
if most of their cap money goes into their 4 stars, I expect them to be the people that show up, and they don't on a too consistent of a basis.
I thought Pajot was great for us in the playoffs, but whatever.
Oh, sure. Wait, Pajot, what are we talking about the Islanders now?
I'm just saying our bottom 6.
It's better.
Wild. I just find it wild that you don't think a Jack Eichel addition to this team makes them a cup contender. That is wild.
Because
it's weird because John thinks this team is good enough to make the playoffs, but he doesn't think Jack Eichel makes them a contender. That's very interesting.
Because, okay.
I think it's the piece most people would agree the Islanders are missing.
The Islanders, on paper, are not a playoff team, but they are because they have Elias Sorokin and the defense.
On paper, they're a playoff team. Objectively, they're a playoff team on paper.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Absolutely, they are.
Absolutely not. They are a playoff team because Elias Sorokin is Elias Sorokin.
No, they literally, from February to the end of the season, without Matt Barzal.
You guys haven't agreed on anything tonight.
Yeah, they were objectively a top 10 defense. They were playing like a top 10 defense from February to the end of the season.
But
and it
why were
wasn't
they
because
playing
of
like a top 10 defense? Because Ilya Sorokin carried them.
No, it wasn't. It was not
Yes.
because of that. They were playing proper structured hockey, unlike traditional pinch run and gun crap that they were forcing on the players for the first 4 months. And then when Barzal got hurt, they finally toned it down and said, hey, you know what?
I do think Sorokin carried them earlier in the year, Brandon. I think we can agree on that.
Earlier in the year, yes. The final quarter season, absolutely not.
He carried them through the playoffs as well.
No,
he had one bad game.
Yes, and one bad game, and arguably a bad goal to give up in the series winner.
No,
had horrible. Yes, they did. That's a horrible goal for Sorokin to give up there.
It was pretty weird. It was a weird goal.
It was a fluke goal. It's not a horrible goal.
Stop
There's
it.
difference.
He should have played the freaking angle better.
There's
Come
different.
on.
No.
Stop.
No one expects that.
If Ilya doesn't start scoring,
absolutely nobody expects that shot to come through.
You literally, your penalty kill.
Barlow's got to be good for at least 3 or 4 goals next year.
Ultimately,
we're in trouble.
Ultimately, your penalty kill and your power play were what sunk the Islanders during the playoffs. The penalty kill should be more spoken about than the freaking power play because you gave up 6 freaking power play goals to a Svechnikov's Carolina team. That is disgraceful.
See, I disagree with Brandon on only one point because I agree with him on everything. Oh, it's my cat. I agree with Brandon on everything besides one point, and that is that the Islanders were playing run and gun earlier in the year. I don't think they were playing run and gun. I think the forwards abandoned their defensive structure. I don't think the entire team was just going up the ice, just like that Barzal Eberle bow.
That's fair.
I don't think that was what we were watching. I think we were watching a team that's not good enough to pressure as much as they were. I don't think it was run and gun. I think it was too much pressure.
They tried doing that a lot with Brock Nelson for the first quarter season. And that's when
I think there's a middle ground because when you say run and gun, Brandon, you make me think of Doug Weight, and I don't think the team looked like the Doug Weight team.
They didn't play run and gun under Doug Weight. They just played defense optional at that point. Everyone.
That's not run and gun. That was maybe we'll play defense.
There was no freaking left wing lock or trap scheme. They literally played man on defense, which is
just
not what
when you say that it bothers me because it makes me think you're talking about like Doug Weight, and I don't think that's what I saw last year.
No, even though, all right. Let me ask you as a question before we leave, because this is already going too far.
Go ahead.
With Jack Eichel, if you're giving this hypothetical bullshit situation, with Jack Eichel, where would you rank this team? Top 2, top 3, top 5, top 10?
Probably 2.
3.
The second best team in the league?
No. Oh, I thought you meant division.
No, in the league.
All division.
In the league.
In the league. He's saying in the league. So I have them right now, John, as the 11th best team in the league. Now I'm high on them because of the defense and goaltending that gives them a boost. I think the defense healthy.
Okay, with Jack Eichel, where are they?
Probably 6th or 5th.
I would say they're probably 10th.
I don't think so. I think that is the piece the Islanders could use the most is a star scorer.
I probably would have them at number 3.
In the league?
What?
That's super high. Wow. I mean, he's high on Sorokin, John.
No. Are you talking about adding Jack Eichel or how they look right now without him?
No, with Jack Eichel. They're the 3rd best team in the league?
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
No.
Yes. Who? Okay. Why? They can't compete.
I could say like 7th. I can make an argue for like 6th or 7th.
Wow. I'm in the middle of you two.
Why are they 7th? Name me the teams who'd be better than them at that point. Name me.
Let's see.
Edmonton.
We have
Dallas.
We have Dallas. We have Colorado. We have Las Vegas. We have Edmonton.
Have you seen Colorado?
John, we're taking Vegas as one of their best players.
I know that. They're still better.
No, they're not. Not what
Yes, they are.
Okay, John. Have you seen Colorado's left wing depth? It is abysmal.
But they also have. But they also have Devin Taves, they have Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Newhook, and Kadri.
No, Newhook got traded.
Yeah,
sorry, Kadri.
He's not that good anyway.
And Kadri signed with Colorado. I got Colorado, Calgary. Kadri signed with Calgary.
You're right. All right,
Brandon
whatever.
got tripped up there. Brandon's like, he's still in Colorado.
Late, dude. It's like
I have a question though.
Midnight.
Jonathan Drew is projected to be their top line winger on the left side. Then it's Tomas Tatar at number 2. You mean to tell me that objectively is better than Leon Engvall? No.
No, I don't. But Devin Taves and Cale Makar are objectively better than Pelican Pulak.
As a pairing, sure, but then there's a big drop off then afterwards.
Yeah,
That's the
just
point.
like us.
But
Yeah.
that's but they clear everyone. They're actual game changers.
I have a question though, and it's important. I don't know if we went over this last podcast, guys. It's been like 3 or 4 months, I think, since we talked. I have the Islanders finishing 4th in our division, 11th in the league. I think the Metro is going to be the best division next year, which is fair. Every team got better, in my opinion. I think we got better too. People say we didn't make offseason moves, but I think our offseason moves happened during the season.
See, here's the thing, Mike. I don't think every team got better in the Metro. I don't.
Okay.
Pittsburgh added Eric Carlson, but you devalued Chris Letang because of that. And you have 1, maybe 2 good defensive defensemen if you want to throw Ryan Graves in there. Because Marcus Patterson's the real deal. But I have my doubts.
Ryan Graves they were able to let him go for a reason.
I have 2 defensemen who play no defense anymore. Letang literally had a stroke last season. So he's like a ticking time bomb waiting to happen.
Pittsburgh, I just tweeted this, Brandon.
By the way, I don't wish that on him, by the way. But I'm saying the inconsistency in health, that is an issue regarding him.
Brandon, the Penguins are the stereotypical Lou Lamoriello team, and people love them because they have Dubas and not Lamoriello. But they're old as shit, and the aging curve is going to kill them. They're not going to. I don't think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They're old as shit. They doubled down on crappy goaltending.
I agree with you. I have them finishing behind us once again. So, Brandon, where do you have the Islanders finishing next year? Where's your thoughts? 3? Who do you have below us? Just curious. Below us.
Rangers.
Okay. So me and you flip-flop. That's the only difference.
I have the Rangers. As far as division goes, I have the Rangers below them. And then I have the Penguins at number 5.
Yeah, same.
Because here's the thing that other people aren't looking at. Yes, the Rangers had about like 15 more points than the Islanders, or 12 more, if I'm not mistaken. People don't realize the Islanders literally had only 5 less 5-on-5 goals than the Rangers, despite Pelech, Palmieri, Pajot, and Barzal out for long stretches of time. They still only had 5 less 5-on-5 goals. Like the Laviolette hire, I don't like the Phil Housley hire because he is not going to coach proper defense to these defensemen not named Adam Fox, and that is something that D-core desperately needs. Desperately needs, because Adam Fox is literally the only defenseman, maybe Keandre Miller in stretches, who could play competent defense. And
I think Keandre is that guy.
I have a Shesterkin bounce back. That's why I have them higher than us, though. But
I have the Islanders in 4th.
Okay, same.
But here's the thing, though. Like, they literally were on a 105-point pace from February to the end of the season when they
it's a short sample size, though. We need to see it. We need to see them play that way in a full year.
And you're going to get a Matt Barzal with 2 healthy legs.
Yeah. I think they're probably going to finish with like 98 to 100 points.
I think they finish higher.
And that's fair. I think, guys, they have to finish with 98 points. You can't be lower than that next year.
Yeah,
you have
I
to
agree.
Finish around that.
No, I have them finishing with 103.
Listen, I said this on Twitter before we close this session so John can go to bed, so all of us can. I said, listen, if the Islanders finish with less points than they did this year, I would root for the Meteor. I think just blow it up. Well, sure. And I know that's hard to do. No, I understand it's hard to do this term. But I don't think this is the team then. I don't think it's the team.
No, I agree.
What would cause them to finish with so many points? Like, you would have to have 3 COVID outbreaks hitting your team again for that to happen.
Or
I think if certain players drop off, you could see a major
If Dobson takes no steps, if Romanov takes no steps, if Barzal and Horvat don't end up meshing together, this team's going to be mid.
If Pelech and Pulak do not produce together the way they did 2 years ago, you're going to see problems.
Mm-hmm.
Big problems.
There's factors that can go in. This happens with every team, by the way, so it's just not us. There's always 1 or 2 teams that drop out. It could be the Rangers next year.
It could.
It could.
Very easily.
They're older, too. They're not a young team.
I still don't get why fans have them higher than the Islanders.
It's 3 and 4 for me.
They have Zibanejad, Kreider, and Panarin. That's it.
They have
Zibanejad, Kreider, Panarin, Fox, Keandre Miller.
That's
when you look at Stanley Cup winners, Brandon, you have.
But that's 5 people who, in most of the league's eyes, clear everyone but Matt Barzal.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you objectively taking 5-on-5 Mika Zibanejad over Brock Nelson?
No, of course not. But the rest of the league,
the informed hockey fan, maybe. Probably
No,
not, but maybe.
5-on-5.
Most people, yeah, they would.
Are you taking Mika Zibanejad over Bo Horvat 5-on-5?
Of course.
No,
it
but
doesn't matter.
that's
We
a
know.
different topic.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. They're saying you just said they cleared everybody but Matt Barzell. Zibanejad
But
right there.
you're
not
talking
clear-
more about name recognition than actual stats.
That's recognition, though, but that doesn't translate to production.
But I also think the Rangers have
But
the
you
pieces
asked
need to
why
win.
people have them higher. It's
Not a
name
cup,
recognition,
but
talent.
No, they
look.
had them higher because the Rangers only played one more game than the Islanders, and they went to the Eastern Conference Final facing off previously against an Instagram chef and a career backup.
But Brendan, when you have to look at their team fairly here, they have Panarin, they have Fox, they have Shesterkin. They have a piece in each of their, and I agree. I don't think their depth is that strong.
They have Sorokin, they have PMP, they have Brock Nelson, they have Bo Horvat, they have Matt Barzell. Okay.
But if you're
you can alternate.
If you're looking at this on paper objectively from people who do not actually follow the Islanders, you ask them if they would rather have Matt Barzal or, well, not Matt Barzal. If you were asking them if they would rather have Brock Nelson or someone like Mika Zibanejad, most people would probably choose Mika Zibanejad.
Most people would still choose Mika over Barzal, even though Barzal's a superior player.
If you were asking if people would rather have Adam Fox and Keandre Miller or Pelican Pulak, I know who most of the league would pick.
Adam Fox individually, sure. Lindgren and Fox as a pairing compared to Pelican Pulak? No, I'm taking Pelican Pulak as a pairing.
That's objectively wrong to 90% of the league.
Yeah. No, because Lindgren is literally only a beneficiary of Adam Fox.
That's fine.
John, not John. Brendan, we know this. We're telling you what other people think. Brendan, in every poll I see, people pick Mika over Barzal. There you go. It's a Ranger thing. Barzal is a superior player to Mika Zibanejad. Mika is a power play merchant. Let's be honest. He's a power play merchant. He was not that good defensively.
Let me put it to you this way. Mika Zibanejad would be the third line center of the New Jersey Devils right now.
Yeah, no,
that is.
You're not.
He would be.
You are not putting him above Jack Hughes.
He would be a winger. He'd probably be on the wing on that team.
You are not putting him above Nico Hischier. Are you sure about that?
I think most people would put him above Nico Hischier.
He ain't playing above yet, Brad. Absolutely not.
I think it would be a mistake to use Nico in the bottom six with how dominant he's been. So what you would do is move Mika to the wing, like they did Barzal.
Sure.
So you're going to further shelter Dawson Mercer some more.
Well, the problem is, Brendan, there's no room for Zibanejad. That is why a team like New Jersey let go of what's his name?
Because he's not better than Nico and Hughes. That's why.
He would still be in the top six, but who did New Jersey let go of? I can't remember.
They let go of Severson and they added to Foley by trade.
No, they let go of a forward because there's no room for him.
Okay.
Tatar.
Final thoughts, guys.
Who would be in most people's top six?
Who?
Tatar. He had 20 goals last year, and he played on the top line of New Jersey last year, Brandon. Just so you know, for a little while.
No. I thought you said like Lazar. I was like,
no, Tatar.
All right, great.
All right, we'll end this.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for listening. Thank you. All right, post it. Very nice. All right.